Former U.S. Ambassador to Russia, John Sullivan, joins us now. Ambassador, we thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us. Many people are comparing this moment to when British Prime Minister Winston Churchill addressed Congress shortly after the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor. Put this in context for us. Is tonight a potentially history-making event?
It certainly is, Linsey. It's a very historic moment. The last time there was a war like we're seeing now on the European continent was 77 years ago at the end of World War II. So the historical comparison is apt, and Zelensky's heroism so far this year in this war is reaching Churchillian proportions. I mean, he's really been a resilient, bold leader who has kept Ukraine in the war and pushed the Russians back.
And, of course, this is the first time that Zelenskyy has left Ukraine since the war started 300 days ago. Why is U.S. support particularly crucial right now?
Well, several reasons, Linsey. First, there's just the volume of the billions of dollars that the United States has given and spent to defend or help Ukraine defend itself. But it's also the message that the United States, as a leader of in NATO and around the world, leading democracies and like-minded countries in resisting this naked aggression that Russia launched, as you noted, 300 days ago. And the messaging that comes out of this visit is very, very important, not just for the U.S., not just for Ukraine, but for the globe, which is why the Russian government is so sensitive to what's happening here.
Well, what message does this send right now to Russian President Vladimir Putin?
Well, Putin has been trying to send a message to us that he's all in. He's not going to stand down from the goals that he set a long time ago for this so-called special military operation. And what President Biden has done today in inviting President Zelenskyy into the White House, sitting with him in the Oval Office, giving him as strong an embrace as an American president can. That's a pretty strong statement from the United States of our enduring support for Ukraine and its resistance to this war of aggression by Russia.
You know, anecdotally, I've heard from some Americans who say, gosh, we've already given billions of dollars. You know, at what point, at what cost do we continue to give? Even though they do support Ukraine, but how much can we afford to continue giving? What would your response be to the average American who is concerned that maybe we're giving too much?
Well, two things. First, I'd say that there's definitely a conversation to be had about the overall level of financial support that any one country, whether it's the United States or one of our other allies and partners, contributes to Ukraine's defense. So burden sharing among allies and partners is a legitimate topic, as is a discussion of whether any particular weapon system should be given or provided to Ukraine. But what we can't lose sight of, Linsey, is who our adversary is, who the country that launched this aggressive war against Ukraine. Russia, as a permanent member of the UN Security Council, who is supposed to be guaranteeing world peace, has plunged Europe into the first major war on the continent in 77 years. So we have to really keep our eye on the ball about how important it is that we assist Ukraine in defending itself, because if Russia prevails here, the consequences for the world and therefore for the United States will be grave.
Ambassador, as you well know, today Putin announced substantial new investments in the military, including increasing the size of the country's armed forces and accelerating weapon development programs. Does this highly public state visit and the pledge to send Patriot missiles to Ukraine also risk further provoking Putin?
Well, certainly, I've seen the statements that have come out of the Kremlin, including by the defense minister, Shoigu. Look, Putin is all in. Putin is going to devote all he can, whatever resources he can, to prevailing in this conflict. what's important for Americans to understand is that our security, the national security of the United States, is significantly impacted by this conflict. It's not just European allies who are threatened. It threatens global peace. Whether he will go so far as to use what the Russians call special weapons, nuclear war, which he's threatened, I think the current assessment is that's not likely, but nuclear blackmail is something that the Russians have used in the past.
Former Ambassador John Sullivan, can't thank you enough for coming on the show.
Thank you, Lindsay. My pleasure.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.